No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world, and today, long-awaited interview with the dude Berner. How you feeling, Berner?
I'm feeling good to finally be here. My bad, man. Every time I'm in town, I've been working on a project or whatnot. So
No, by all means. I remember last time you were in town, I was keeping up on the Instagram story, and I was seeing you in the studio with like all kinds of legends who are now escaping my mind.
Yeah, I was in there with Scott Storch did the last album,
Right.
and we got a bunch of good features on the album too. But yeah, we were grinding, bro. I'm out here grinding again, getting this shit done.
Last time you were here, though, who you were with? You were with somebody super fucking legendary, but I can't remember it.
Was it DJ Paul?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was at least one of them. Yeah.
DJ Paul, DJ Quick.
Yeah, Quick. That was the one that I was like, oh man, Berner's really out here getting everybody.
Man, you know, my whole thing is where I'm at with music right now is I want to work with people I grew up like listening to and looking up to. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to like keep up with everything and, you know, egos and whatnot in the business. So it's like if I come across somebody that wants to work and or if that's not the case and I'm looking for someone I grew up listening to and, you know, fuck with it like that.
For sure. So you're from the Bay Area?
But yeah, born and raised in Frisco, yeah.
Okay, amazing. So the rap came first.
Yeah. Well, you
True or
know,
false?
weed came first. Like I was always
Okay.
fucking around with the weed shit and it led to I was selling weed to somebody out of the coffee shop I was working at when I was like 17.
So when you were 17, was that like around the time that you first started like selling eighths, or what was it when you first got started?
It was like really like eighths and quarters and zips. I had this whole little neighborhood I was working in Frisco on lock. So all the people from the, you know, everyone from each little business around there, from the restaurants or the offices, they'd all come get their weed from me. I had it in the little Telly's coffee cups, you know what I'm saying? So I have a bunch of coffee cups lined up, eighths, quarters, and ounces, and just killing it, crushing it.
See, you're the same age as me, but I remember that I hadn't been to the West Coast because I'm from the East Coast until maybe 2008, 2009. And I remember my first time ever going to San Francisco, there was this dude, D-Block, this like local BMX rider who would just chill in the park and sell weed all day. And I had no idea that existed anywhere in America at the time. And I'm like, the cops just leave you alone? He's like, yeah, if we don't.
You got the bike messengers selling their weed. You go to downtown to the wall. They call it the wall.
I was not, it was downtown. I was not used to the idea of people being able to just sell weed in the park. Because in New York, if you're selling weed in the park in 2008, it was still kind of hot.
It was sus, yeah. It was, you get caught up, yeah.
So was that like, did you think it was some regular shit, or did you still feel like you were really breaking the law as like a 17-year-old weed dealer?
Nah, it's just grew up in that shit. So you like, you know, as a kid, you walk by and see cannabis clubs open, and you know, you see people coming out with them bags, and I remember smelling them bags, and be like, "Ooh, I need to be a part of this somehow."
So the cannabis clubs were open in even like what year approximately?
Fuck, they opened up in '96.
Right, 96. Holy shit, I'm so out of the loop. That's crazy.
Opened up in '96. So like, as a kid, you're like walking by and seeing motherfuckers coming out and going in and coming out, and they're showing you all the edibles and all this shit, and you're just like super gamed up for, you know, when you go travel the rest of the world. Obviously, you tell them these stories and they don't even really believe you or not. You know what I'm saying? So.
But the Bay has got such a head start on all that shit, huh?
Yeah, it was like one of the first places to really kick it off.
Right. So do you feel like you, even before all that, did you feel like you had like a hustler's spirit per se? Do you always know that you were like determined to just go out there and get it?
Yeah, both my mom and dad, you know, own their own businesses and work super hard, you know. So like, I was always taught to work for yourself. So the only way to do that is to hustle, really. You can't just like, you know. And I had other jobs, but I was always trying to find like the vision of like, how could I own my own shit and get what I want out of life.
So you're doing the weed thing and you're rapping at the coffee shop that you happen to work at, or how did this go?
It's a good story. So like it was on, you know, ever been to Haight Street on San Francisco?
Yeah.
That's where we have our clothing store too, which is crazy full circle type
That's
shit.
where the Cookies clothing store is?
Yeah, on Haight. So I was at the coffee shop, it's right above Haight, and there was like a little coffee shop down from my coffee shop where people would do like freestyles and battles and shit. And I'd seen like a local rapper come in, shout out to Don Toriano, he had pulled up. And it was the homie, gave him some weed, and he was like, man, come fuck around this little thing. So I came, and he got me to start, like, I don't know how to start freestyle battling all the people over there. And I was not bad at it. You know
and had you been just, like, freestyling with your friends, like, messing around?
Yeah, like, before it was, like, just kind of playing around with it, like, on the 8-track or just, you know, when he had met me, I was experimenting with it a little bit. So, like, we had talked, oh, I look up to your shit, Fully Loaded. It's a dope-ass group out the Bay. That's what's up. Yeah, I fuck with it a little bit. He's like, man, come out here and, you know, whoop, whoop. So I was already like experimenting with it, but he really put me in the right, like from the battles to bringing me up to like, you know, my boy Stingy's house or my boy Johnson's house and actually getting me to get on a mic over a beat and start to learn how to actually really rap and whatnot. It all came from selling weed at that coffee shop.
Were you like deep into the Bay Area hip hop scene and all the legends? Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, I grew up on JT the Bigger Figure, San Quinn, you know what I'm saying, Keek the Sneak, 3 Times Crazy, 40 Water, Too Short. I mean, the Bay Area, to me, it showed me the vision of, like, the independent blueprint. Like, that was, like, the king of independent markets right there. You know what I'm saying? So, especially shout out to JT, the Bigger Figure. I mean, he was dropping tapes just bah, 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 Get Low and all that shit. So, super into it.
When we had Too Short in here the other day, and he's just talking about, like, being, like, essentially the first rapper on the West Coast, but especially for, like, up in the Bay and shit. Like, he was actually doing that shit before anybody had a record deal.
Yeah, Short's legendary, bro.
Mind-blowing.
Legendary, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you start, like, moving up in the game? I'm assuming that, like, you sort of found your calling with the weed thing before the rap shit started really popping off?
You know, the way I did it was different, and I look at this approach a lot now, and I'm glad I did it. I started off by doing group projects. So the way I looked at it was like, all right, I did a mixtape first. It was cool. It was like a free tape I gave away with Dow Jones. Shout out to Dow Jones. Back in, like, 2006, I think. And then I looked at it like, if I do a group album with somebody that already has an established fan base and I show out on it and I perform well on it and the album packaging is dope and the beats are dope and I don't take no shortcuts, then their fan base will learn about me. And so I popped off a bunch of group albums. Actually, I did the first one with Equipto. I did the second one with the Jacka. Rest in peace to the Jacka. You know what I'm saying? And that one, when I did the one with Jacka, it really put me in a spotlight for that Bay Area scene, which, you know, in like Akron, Ohio, and in Cleveland and Kansas City, and there's been a whole blueprint that like Sibo and the mob figures and the Jacka and them kind of laid for us. So when I tapped into that circuit, that's when it all started kind of making sense.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So yeah, was it like weed was sort of like your day job at that time in terms of just how you were getting by, and then you also had this creative pursuit?
You know, like, I think I was just passionate about the weed and always having the best weed. That was, like, something I always wanted to, you know, do. But it also funded everything at the same time, too. So it's like,
right.
You know.
So how did you start to, like, make moves in terms of, like, developing in the weed game?
You know, I, like, so oddly enough, I was working at that coffee shop. I was experimenting with rapping. I was going to a cannabis club every day. And I was buying herb there, and I was trying to shoot a documentary there about it because it was so interesting to me. And so I'd come there and I'd interview people in the dispensary that had like a smoke lounge there and whatnot. And one day I came in and the owner was like, "Are you sick of wearing that fucking coffee outfit every day? Why don't you come work here? I'll pay you X amount an hour and you'll come and start running the front door and do intake." And I started and moved up the ladder quick. And before you know it, you know, I'm running a spot. I'm doing the buying. So I'm buying all the hottest shit in the street, putting it on the shelf. You know, I'm getting a little deeper into rap music at the time. You have people falling through. When they come to the city, they come see me. It all just boom, 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 piled up from the dispensary. You take like a 19-year-old kid, and at the time I was bartending too. So a lot of people don't know this, but you know, I was bartending, fucking older bitches, living the life, rapping. So Monday through Friday, I'd go bartend at the dispensary, and I'd run that club. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I'd go bartend, and it was like Friday night was hip hop, Saturday night was like techno, Sunday night was salsa. And so it was just a really crazy lifestyle at a young age. Like,
that's what's funny is that what you just described is like, I can't imagine a better way to just meet a shitload of people that would be relevant towards any sort of career than working in the weed club or working at a bar, shit like that. But a lot of these dudes out here right now, like, are kids who are watching this at 18, they think they're way too cool to go work in a weed club or some shit.
You know, it opened up so many opportunities to me, especially like, let's keep it 1,000. Like, if you really break down the hustle, and we talk about hustling, somebody comes in, you know what I'm saying? You buy a pound for X amount of dollars. You put it on the shelf. You make a little bit of profit. You establish a relationship with a real connect that will come through and respect you because you're buying product for that store. And whatever you do outside is what you do. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to look at it like it was an extremely big network to tap into at 18 years old and have that power to be able to buy a product and build relationships with the growers. You know what I'm saying?
Because when I think about like me trying to sell drugs as a young man, it was just not really meant to work out because I didn't have an amazing network of connections. I was very, very limited in like the connections I was making. Typically, like they didn't necessarily have a reason to respect me or to like carry on a long-standing relationship with me. And now when I think about it, if something were to happen and I were to have to like, you know, sell actual drugs, not weed, dude, I would be able to fucking kill it because I know a million motherfuckers now, and that's what it's all about.
We just talked about it on the way here. I'm like, look, with the way the game's going and the weed game's changing so much, and it's cool to like try to stay in it and figure it out. And the way the rap game is, if I ever fall off and I ever have to go back to being a shady drug dealer and selling real drugs, it's gonna be kind of trippy. But the thing is, we could kill it because people know who we are, and we're, you know what I'm saying, have networks and whatnot. So it's just trippy. This shit crosses my mind too. Like if I had to go bust down a block around the corner before I came here, what would that be like? You know.
Right.
But
yeah, thank God you don't got to do it because you do hear about I'm sorry, no, it's just for the interview. I got to keep the head straight. But no, you think about what's his name, Biggs from Rockefeller. He got busted for running a weed ring in New York, and I don't really know the specifics of it, but I mean that happened after the Rockefeller breakup. So you can just imagine that, like in terms of people snitching and shit, they're trying to snitch on well-known people.
You know, some of the biggest gangsters and killers in the world will turn snitch so fast, and it's sad, bro. It's just what it is. Motherfuckers too scared to go sit down. You know
I'm sure you've seen it a million times.
Oh man, it's sad and shady, but you know, it's fucked up.
You always done a pretty good job staying out of trouble, or what's your record like?
Yeah, I've never been in trouble. And when we get pulled over, the police just get so frustrated by it.
Really?
You ever been to jail? You on probation? Nah. You ain't ever been to jail? Nope. You ain't never been in handcuffs? Nope. You know, and they like feel like defeated or upset. But nah, bro, I got a straight head, bro. Like, I'm about my money. I'm about my family. I did a lot of wild shit when I was younger, and when I was in that bartending, like drinking, cocaine, hustle, D-boy life, and had like, you know, a big eye opener when I had my kid. And when I had my kid, I was like, I ain't fucking risking none of this shit.
How old's your kid?
She's 11.
Oh shit! So you had a kid since you're like 23?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you that kind of made you pull your shit together pretty young, huh?
Yeah. And you know, my daughter, when she was about, I think 2 or 3, my mom had passed away, and I always looked at it like, you know, if I get caught up or if I go to jail, my mom's here. She got it. She got it. She's gonna raise her with the right love and the right direction. And as soon as she passed away, it was a big eye opener. Like, there's no room to fuck up,
right? Because
all your kids know is what you teach them. And so with all, you know, so many people being lost out there in the world, the last thing I want is my daughter, which is, you know, having a daughter is crazy, especially when you come from the dirtbag lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's how to take that shit serious, bro.
So as you started to like get your shit together and everything, how did you eventually like move into a position of, you know, because when we think about Berner now, and like I was trying to describe you to somebody who didn't know about you the other day, I'm like, honestly, I don't know the exact details of every business he's involved in and shit, but he just seems like he's involved with a million fucking weed brands, and he seems like I was like, honestly, he's probably like the biggest like weed celebrity in the actual game that's like viewed as like a plug. He wasn't like a rapper turned weed industry dude. He's like pretty much in terms of dudes who came up in that, I'm like, I can't really think of anybody that would be more known for that particular role.
You know, it's like trippy, man. At the end of the day, the way I look at it is like, music is a great platform, and I make music because I'm passionate about it. So we talked about earlier, like the people I'm getting on the albums are the people I grew up listening to, but it's also a great platform. I mean, if you look at shoes or alcohol or clothing, or I mean, music dictates everything. So, you know, how to describe it, I just kind of realized that, like, look, I've been blessed to be able to move up the charts with the music. People, I have a real following. I'm from Northern California. I put on hard for my city. I got a great work ethic, but I realized that I could spread the fuck out my wings and use my platform to be a part of so much bigger shit. And like, I feel like there's only a few people in the rap game that are real business savvy. There's like, you know, there's the ones. There's like Puffy, and there's Jay-Z, and there's 50, and a good amount of other people that really take that, a few amount of people that take that shit seriously, where it's like, look, rap is rap, and we're great at it, but we're going to move towards this bigger business. And so I just always been trying to get like that, and recognize that I do have influence, and, you know, some weird way or shape or form, people respect my opinion on things, and, you know, to be a part of all the companies was just a blessing, really.
So what stands out to you in terms of the first time that you actually were involved on more of like a corporate type end, or as like an influencer for a weed brand? How'd you sort of start to dip your way into that? Like,
somebody approached me and was like, look, we'll pay you to represent this dispensary every month. Because when I stopped, there's been a point where the music got so popping, I couldn't work at the cannabis club no more.
Right.
It just didn't make sense. It's like, all right, this music shit is cracking and things are going. So when I stopped doing that, people were like, there's something missing. What if we broke you off to represent a dispensary and help us source good product? Because around that time is when cookies was getting started. So like, we want exclusive on the flower. We want to make sure that, you know, we're pushing this brand. Why don't we help you build it? And so when I seen what this group was able to do with my name, with my brand in a storefront, it really made me open my eyes. Like, this brown bag money is cool and it's great, but I'm not about to get blinded by this. This is a big fucking business. So that's when it opened my eyes. I was getting this brown bag money and feeling comfortable. And then I watched this group raise money. And I watched this group expand, and everyone thought it was my shit. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that, bro. This needs to be my shit.
And you were what, getting like a monthly check just for endorsing it?
Yeah, monthly check and then royalties off the flower and whatnot. So, I mean, it was chump.
It was cool, but it wasn't.
Super chump, but it's not what it's supposed to be. That's like renting a house opposed to like owning a house.
Right.
You know, you could rent a house. It's cool. You're going to be comfortable. You're going to chill. You got what? But you own that motherfucker, and then it's a whole nother story.
Right.
So that's kind of where I looked at it.
Interesting. Yeah. This is like so many different ways that you could sort of like try to get into the weed game at this point. But it's interesting because there's so many fake things going on now.
It's like the .com industry. It's like the gold rush. And the way I look at it, when someone tried to explain to me in a few sentences, how do you describe what you've done? And I said, listen, you look at OG Kush, you look at Blue Dream, you look at Haze, you look at Sour Diesel. There's no face attached to that strain. We're able to take a face, and we're one of the first people to ever put this logo on a brand. And I learned that from just looking at the dispensary when I was a kid, noticing no one has no brand identity. It's just going to be like liquor one day. So we were one of the first groups. I was one of the first people to ever put a logo and a face to a strain and a brand. And then it's spreading like wildfire now. People are doing it. But to be able to be one of the first, it's a good look.
It's interesting, too, because it's like there's still, as much as we live in like a fake ass world, there's still such a premium attached to like authenticity, because there's so many people out there that are like pretty popular on Instagram. They're trying so hard to be like weed influencers and this weird ass lane. I had people ask me about that, like, do you do weed influencer shit? I'm like, oh my God, I guess. But man, you calling it that makes me feel weird.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it's like this. Look, shout out to everybody. Everyone has their vision of wanting to get into the business. I love this motherfucking plant. I love everything about it, so I'm passionate about it. And so the influencer thing, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But if you have not risked your freedom, if you have not been in a sketchy hotel somewhere down south wondering if you're going to get robbed, killed, or go to jail, if you've never been waiting for a package and your stomach felt like motherfucking 3 butterflies were in that motherfucker, and you had a shitty strippy bitch looking out the window waiting for the truck to pull up, then you don't deserve to be in the business. That's the way I look at it.
Right.
Fuck all that.
So that's interesting. You still have that like affection for the way that the game was more when it was that Wild Wild West vibe, right?
That shit's intense. That shit, you lose something, and you know, I've had feds pull me off the airplane and fuck with me and have pictures of all kind of weird shit and try to accuse me of things, and that shit is scary, bro. Like that shit sticks. It's like I'm scared of flying to LAX.
Right.
I will not fly into LAX.
Still.
Fuck no.
Really? Just because you had weird shit?
They pulled me off like 3 times there. You know what I'm saying? And that shit sticks with you. Like, I'm scarred from that shit.
And you feel that much safer in Burbank?
Hey, man, I've never seen no dude with braces, long hair, and a Hawaiian shirt waiting for me with his little badge coming out of Burbank. Now, what could it happen? Maybe not this late in the game. It's been so long, and things have changed so much, and I don't think they waste energy. But I remember it at LAX, so I'm not flying to LAX. If I have to, then I'm still probably a little tripped out from it, because that shit sucks.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like that almost... like that mentality of still loving like the outlaw drug dealer lifestyle, you ever feel like that almost holds you back because inevitably this weed shit is going to become like Walmartized, right?
Nah. It actually is the opposite. Like,
okay.
So the new album's called Rico, you know what I'm saying? And it's just all them stories. And, you know, I wrote a screenplay a while back with a pretty big writer. He put out a couple big movies called Pax. We've been sitting on it, but it's the story of the rise of designer weed. When that shit really hit Arkansas, Miami, and Atlanta, and Texas, and all that shit, we really have that story that we're gonna tell. And I want to speak and preach that story more, because that motherfucker's hard. Like, when you look at Blow, it's like the rise of how Coke came about. So a lot of people just need to hear that real story. So when it's like Walmart, you know, think about it like this. What if Prohibition happened and someone made a movie about Prohibition ending while it was ending? And it was like the hardest gangster flick ever. It's like,
right.
I look at it like motivation to tell that story more than anything.
Totally.
It's going to end up like Walmart one day, probably. But people like me, my job is to make sure that if these big corporate cats come in and grow this shit, hopefully they grow in this shit.
Right. Yeah. No, because All right, but we both, I think, have like that affection for that like outlaw way of life. And like I had this weird experience where I met this dude. I thought he was corny as fuck. I was like, whatever, I met him. It's fine. I knew he had money and shit, but I thought he was in like legitimate business and stuff. And then one of my friends told me, he's like, yo, I understand why you think that dude's corny, but that dude's like a millionaire from the street shit. Like he was like a crazy weed millionaire back in the day. So just keep that in mind. And I fucking hated it, but my entire brain and the way I was viewing this dude recalibrated, and I was like, all right, maybe he is cool. Like it totally readjusted, and that's weird, but it says a lot about kind of how we view things.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the weed game's trippy too. It's like an untold story, like what really went down and how it's going. And the way it's going down now is cutthroat as fuck.
Really? What do you mean by that?
I mean, you just got big investment banker dudes. You got big real estate dudes, and everyone's coming in trying to push the culture out, and they're devaluing what people like myself bring to the table, and what what really how the pecking order should be in a business that's been outlawed for so long. But that's cool, man. We can keep swinging and try to stay in the game. And like I said, make sure that some of these big dogs are at least growing some fire.
Yeah.
I would hate for the next generation to grow up smoking some bullshit because a group got in position to decide what gets grown. Like, fuck that. Like, that's what I'm advocating towards right now, really.
Because like hamburgers are one of the biggest types of food, but 95% of hamburgers that are sold at like McDonald's.
Trash.
And that would be really sad if we had to return to the mid.
I mean, like, yeah, if we were only elevating, if we were taking this whole mission this far to smoke mid, like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be somewhere with some shady, thin dreadlocks growing the best weed in the world, busting packs with real shit on some remote island for the elite, if that's what happens.
And it's hard to imagine, but it's like, again, everybody is eating shitty-ass burgers from McDonald's.
No, everybody, because it's there.
Yeah, and it's
like,
cheap.
Think about it. Like, last night I went back to the hotel room, and there's, like, X amount of selections. And I was like looking there, like there's this whack ass candy bar and these boof ass nuts and these fucking whack ass gummies and this whack ass beverage in the fridge. And I'm like, that's what the weed brand, that's what it could come to in the weed industry, because you're gonna pick something. You're thirsty, you're hungry. If that's what's there, then fuck it.
Yeah, and it's weird too, because it's like, I think me or you, if we were to walk into a dispensary in some random ass city and they had a $100 ounce and a $400 ounce, we would just say, let's get that $400 ounce. But based on the way we see people buying hamburgers, it seems like a lot of people might end up going with the $100 ounce. I don't know.
Well, it's also like, if that hamburger place is the only thing around, people are educated with that bullshit, they're never going to really know what's out there. It's like if you go somewhere and you just get put on with a fat bitch and that's the only thing you ever hit. If you hit a fat bitch and that's all you know, then you're just stuck in that small town with just a few fat bitches. You're never going to know that. You come to Cali or go to Miami, there's just all kinds of shit floating around. So it's like, if you're educated and that's all you know, then you're not going to really,
But that fucks you up, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like you only know so much as you've experienced. I heard Dan Bilzerian talking about it one time, and he was talking about like, getting some regular, like kind of nice car fresh out of college or some shit, and he was all hyped as fuck. But his happiness was at a 10. But now that he's driven every nice car in the whole world, like his happiness can't ever get to a 10, because like even the nicest car might get him to like a 6.
Yeah, that's just wild.
Yeah. You ever think about that? Because you got some nice shit, right?
I got some nice shit, but my happiness comes from other shit. Like, I like just showing my kid and watching my kid grow up and like think about the way she reminds me of me. So like, look, money, I've had money for a while, designer things, I got it, a bunch of jewelry, I don't need to wear it. Like, I get juiced on my kid, and I really just kind of step back and look at, like, motherfuckers really die young these days. Like, whether it be from some bullshit in the street, or it be from like a cancer type thing or a heart attack, like, people are dying so young. You have to be happy, and you have to understand that it's not all material, because I look at some of the richest people, and you really like look into them and you be around them, and they're just not happy because what you just said. It's like, fuck, you've already have everything. What is there to get juiced about? So
yeah, family
gets me juice, and fucking, music.
Did you used to go super hard with like the luxury type shit, or was it, because from my perspective, it's like I feel like I'm 34 and I just can really say I started like really having money the past year or two. So it's like I feel like I had to work too hard for too long to want to just go spend 20 racks at the mall.
The best thing about it is I'm a fat dude, so like there's not many things I could buy. I could buy a bag, I could buy some shoes, but like designer clothes, like they don't fit me, so fuck it. Like,
I have that issue with a lot of shit too. I'm a little too big and tall for a lot of that shit.
Like, I'm blessed because maybe I would be catting off. But jewelry, I've spent a good amount of money on jewelry. But I try to buy shit like this. I could sell this. I could go to Europe and sell this to Rolex. It's a Rolex watch bought from them, and what I'm saying, I got a couple bust downs. I'm guilty, but I just kind of like buy shit I buy shit to please myself, but I'm not gonna go crazy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm not gonna go nuts.
Yeah, it's like a difference between somebody who, you know, gets their $10,000 check for signing to a label and then they go to the mall and spend 8,000 of it versus like if you got millions in the bank and you can have a reasonable clothing budget. I see a lot of people, they got like a very small amount of money, but they're trying to live like Lil Pump. And it's like, you realize Lil Pump is spending like 1% of his income on his clothes and jewelry, right?
You know, and not everyone could be Pump, bro. Pump
Yeah.
just got a gold jet ski. Pump just turned 18. Pump been fucking bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like at the end of the day, if that's why I just don't get caught up in that shit. Because if I'm trying to be like everyone else, well, one, I might fuck around and go broke, have a midlife crisis or whatnot. No, it's trippy. But, be wise with your motherfucking paper, man. Buy some land, put that shit up. That shit can end it quick.
Yeah.
A lot of artists I grew up listening to, their shit has ended quick. It's over.
But are you the kind of guy though too where if somebody walks up and gave you $10 million right now, you're going to start a business with it? Like something bigger than what you're doing now. Like for me, I can't help but see any dollar amount as a potential investment into making more money.
I'll give you a prime example. Like a couple months ago, I got a $2.5 million check. Straight up. And the first thing I did with that motherfucker, and this is all in one whop, I paid my taxes from a few years back that was fucked up from some fucked up business management. Shout out to MGO. They fucking suck. If you're a rapper or whatnot and you're in LA, don't fuck with the cats. So get your shit all the way fucked up. Had me owing $2-something million saying they paid it and they didn't, but we'll get into it later. But long story short, with that 2.5, I paid back taxes and I paid current taxes. And that was it.
Yeah.
I'm like, bruh, I always wanted a $1 million check. That was my only goal in life. And I was going to go buy me a Lambo. And I was going to go do some crazy shit. I didn't do none of that. I really looked at it and I made sure that my shit was straight. Because the last thing I want is that IRS. I'm not getting played like some of these artists have been played or these actors have been played. Fuck that.
Right.
So if I brought $10 million, hell yeah, I'm going to start a business with that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out 20 ways to flip it. Because if you just go blow it, then you're fucked. You owe 5. You get 10 million. If you get 10 M's, you owe 5. You owe 53%. And then you're going to end up busting that 5 down so fast and it's gone.
Right.
If you take it, invest in something, you don't have to pay taxes right away. You build something, bop, 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 bop. That's how I do it.
Yeah, somebody was asking me the other day about the biggest check I ever got, and then they were like, which is a very small percentage of what you just said, but they were like, what'd you do? I'm like, fucking nothing. And they're like, what? Like, you didn't do anything? Buy yourself anything fancy? I'm like, bro, if I could think of something fancy I wanted, I would have gone and bought it, but I don't got any like shit stored up in my brain that I'm excited about.
Yeah, man, like, we're probably wiser, you know what I'm saying? We're a little older. And to all the young cats, man, like, look, I get it. Get that cash, do your thing, buy that jewelry, but remember the IRS is a motherfucker. That's one gang you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
They will come back and bite your motherfucking ass so hard. Like, man, I'd be worrying about my youth. I'd be seeing them with these stacks of bread and shit. I'm like, I come up from an industry where I'm not showing shit because motherfuckers come duct tape your ass and throw you in the truck and kill you for that shit. But more importantly, I worry are these cats paying their taxes, bro? Because that shit will come back, bro.
That's what I think. I see them with the giant stacks of money and the jewelry and shit. And I'm like, so you don't think anybody's going to come rob you? Like, what, you're not scared about that or what?
Sometimes I have FOMO. I'm like, damn, these young cats is living, bro. Like, damn, bro, I need to go. I'm going to go. And I'm like, nah, just stay focused. You know
but I heard like rich people talk about like, yeah, I don't keep my jewelry in the house. I keep it in the bank because like I can't have that shit in the house in case somebody runs up in there. They're not going to get me for a couple $1 million.
Man, look.
All these rappers are doing it. I'm like, damn, I didn't even know you could do that. Put it in the bank.
I do it.
You do it, yeah.
Yeah, so like the bank that I fuck with, it's like my closet. I pull up and show up and come out dripped and then go back and put it away. And it's just like, I'm like, fuck it. That's a safety deposit box. That motherfucker's insured. It's not going to burn down. It's fireproof.
Yeah.
And nothing. Fuck all that.
That seems pretty smart. If I ever had like millions of dollars in diamonds, I would hope I would have that.
I don't got M's and diamonds,
Okay.
but the bust down, I love it.
Right. So, okay. Let's talk about cookies, man. Like, how did this brand come about? Is this the brand that you feel the closest to, or I'm interested, like, because this,
cookies
it's
is my
unbelievable.
baby. It's my baby. I mean, at the end of the day, my partner Jai created Girl Scout cookies back in the days. He brought it to me in my garage. We named it, and I put it in important people's hands, and it started spreading through music and became something phenomenal. And a lot of growers, shout out to all the cultivators out there, they took it and they bred with it and they created a bunch of strains. And cookies like almost has its own flavor profile. So you got the OG Kush, you have like the haze, you'll have like the like the lemon profile, then you have like a cookie profile. So it became a strain that was so popular that so many people built menus with, that it's a staple thing now. And so I'm hella attached to it, and you know, it's not just a strain now. There's so many different crosses with it and things that lay under that brand. And, you know, it turned up. It was just something I just stayed persistent with.
When Migos say fat cookie blunt in the ashtray on Bad and Bougie,
Yeah.
is that product placement or is that just having a great relationship?
You know what? It's actually neither. It's organic fucking shit. And, like, that's the one thing about cookies I feel hella blessed for is, like, you know, I know Offset, shout out to Offset, and I worked with them before on an album, one of my previous albums. I think it was fucking 20 Lights or something like that. And I did a single with Quavo, but there's never been any business done to promote it. They need it, and they fuck with it because that shit blow. And that's when I always say, you hear me talk about I let my pack talk. It's like I see some weed brands going up, and they're like, here's 3 pounds. And it might be like a Cookies Cross, and like the name of their brand's on there, and they're telling them to shout out. Cookie. It's easier. Fuck it. But no, I think they fuck with the brand and they know where I come from too. And it's actually been amazing to not have to even worry about the product placement of cookies. It's just kind of like I move mean, I'm around. It's how it's sitting on this table, I'm here. It's just all natural and organic. And when you smoke that shit, any of these bags, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, because once I like heard that song 10 times, it started to occur to me. I'm like, damn, that's a valuable shout out. But I really doubt that they cut the check for that because that is way too expensive of a shout out to go and like commission, you know?
You know, at the end of the day, they did that shit, and I appreciated it so much that when they got caught, or someone in their entourage got caught on tour recently, and they had like the cookie pound bag or whatever it was.
Really?
It was on TMZ and all these news stations. I hit them up and I got a pound for each of you, and that's the only thing I've ever given to them like that.
Really?
Like, yo, I got a pound for you. I got a pound for you. I got a pound for you. Come get this shit. Smoke the shit out of it. Thank you. That was a huge, as it was a bad situation for whoever got caught up.
Right.
It was a great look for us. So, and that's after all these platinum songs have been out and whatnot. So shout out to the fucking Migos for real.
Yeah. But I mean, you guys be giving out pounds like they're friggin' business cards, man.
Not me.
No, but I was watching you on one of your shows. I can't remember what it was, but they were just giving you a pound. Like, all right, here you go, bro. Like it was a fucking eighth. Like, here, check my shit out.
No, people give me. It's crazy. Like when we go on tour, it's scary because we'll leave. Like we'll be done with the show, motherfuckers. It's cracking that show, great energy. We're in a sketchy city, and we'll literally have like 2 pounds of gifts on the bus from just that night. I'm like, man, get this shit off. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's actually cool for someone to walk up and give you a pound of weed, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
People they feel offended to bring me a little bag.
Right.
Probably be easier for me to move around with a little bag, but I mean, fuck it, people bring pounds. That shit's a blessing to me. It's like, you know, my OG like low key sell that little motherfucker and go, you know what I'm saying? Go take the boys out for some teppanyaki or something, man.
For real.
Shit.
Nah, man, when I was at some music festival, when I met you, you came up and gave me like an ounce of biscotti, and like that was definitely the best weed I got from that whole festival. But like when I was emptying out my jacket and my girl's purse and like putting everything in the trunk, I'm like, holy fuck, I got like over half a pound of weed in my trunk for no reason. I did not plan on this at all.
It's crazy. That's how them things be. And,
yeah.
You know, I always keep a couple of reserve bags in case I run into someone special and want to bless their lungs and keep this shit moving. And Cookies was built on organic marketing and just, like I said, me being out there with what I do with the music and complimenting all that shit. That shit's just, it's been a blessing for real.
For sure. So that's kind of one of the questions I had is like when you see a lot of the marketing that goes on with brands and especially like the lifestyle marketing that people try to do through rappers or through like cool things going on in the scene, what's your opinion on a lot of that stuff? Because a lot of it just seems really poorly thought out when you see these brands just sort of giving people weed all the time and just sort of being corny about it.
There's people out there running around that look crazy what they're doing. And you know, I'm not a hater. My whole thing is like, look, if that's how you have to get down, that's how you have to get down. But there's a lot of dick riding going on with like, you know, the weed shit. And all it makes me feel like is I'm just like super fortunate to like be able to organically promote my shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of, shout out to our sponsor, Bearwoods, who I almost forgot.
Actually, hey, man, shout out to the boy, man. The
shout
beard,
out Eli,
shout out to that beard, man. That beard, he's a beast. I fuck with them big time. And have you tried the blunt yet? The edible blunt with cocoa nugs?
The edible Bearwoods blunt?
Yeah.
No.
It's not even THC infused. It's just like a bomb-ass like cocoa nugs chocolate blunt with Nutella in it. And it's just the best little fucking candy gimmick ever.
Whoa.
It looks like a backwood. It looks like a Bearwood straight up. And it comes in the Bearwood tubes.
Right.
But you just eat that motherfucker, and that shit is fire as fuck.
So you've been involved with Cocoa Nugs since the very beginning?
Flo, shout out to Flo, shout out to Scott Storch. Now they brought me in like right after they got started. She reached out to me, and that's how I linked up with Scott Storch. So super dope.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people that don't know that every time you see somebody on World start eating weed, that they're just eating the cocoa nugs.
They're eating cocoa nugs. And
for those who don't know,
Supreme
it's
Patty
like
wilded
toffee.
out and went through the airport with it, and that shit was hilarious.
Oh, really?
He got caught up with TSA with it. That shit was dope.
And then he ate it in front of him, or what?
Yeah. Well, he just told him it was chocolate.
You ever been in one of those situations? I remember I was driving to Texas with a bunch of my friends on a BMX trip back in the day. We thought we were all good because we got rid of all the weed and everything. Obviously, the dogs smell us as soon as we get anywhere fucking close to the thing. They open the trunk. We think we're so fucking smart because we smoked all the weed beforehand. The dog goes right to my homie's backpack. He looks right at me. I got an edible in there. I'm like, oh my God. And the fucking chick made him eat the whole thing right in front of us. Just ate this monster edible right in front of us. He was sick for like a day and a half. You ever have any weird shit like that, like crossing the border between states and shit?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pass this. One of y'all breathe on this because this shit just tastes too good. I feel selfish hitting that. Y'all go ahead and touch that. Yeah, the weirdest moment I had was with my brother B Real. We were
Shout
riding.
out Be Real, man.
Shout out to B Real. We were riding in Pennsylvania somewhere, and like the bus stops, and I had a pound of weed, and I was smelling it, and he's taking a dab, and an officer runs up on the bus, fully like uniformed out. I was like, you guys are fucking fucked. You guys are fucked. And we're like, we look at him. And he's like, I'm just playing, man. Be real, man. What's up? And I'm looking at him. I'm tripping out. And this fool grabs his phone and goes pure on thirst selfie mode. Like, what up? It's whatever DTV. I'm with Be Real from Cypress Hill. And he looks at me. He's like, roll that shit up, man. Why you talking like a bitch? I'm like, oh my God. We're in the sticks in Pennsylvania. And the dude was a big ass fan of Be Real and showed him his drum set and told him how he grew up working out to his music and all this shit, and we're just like, I'm still holding the pound, looking at him like, are we fucked? Are we not fucked? Is this a joke? Is it real? Is this like a fucking, is this one of like those old like candid camera type things or something? No, I was really a cop who fanned out when he saw Be Real, and so that shit was trippy.
You feel like that gets you off quite a bit, just the fact that people recognize you?
I feel like the TSA people always think I have something on me, and I was like, bro, we got you straight. Slide through. I've had TSA dudes try to talk to me about business in the airport. I can get you back. I'm like, bro, please get away from me.
You probably get that so much.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, it's bad. Hey,
some random dude.
Everybody
like,
wants to buy a 100-pack. Everybody wants to, everyone has, people showing me bags of cat. I have the craziest stories about like, yeah. Crazy shit.
Yeah, because it's like from your perspective, it's like you definitely can't be having that kind of conversation with some random, right?
Man, y'all too late for that shit, bro. I got all eyes on me. I feel like Pac, bro. All eyes on me. I can't do it, but people pull up and show me the craziest shit. Yeah. People throw me $100 bills on stage when I'm performing, and it says I'm here to spend, and it's their phone number. And it's just like, I actually framed one of those.
Wow.
I'm like, this in the crib framed, because I'm like, this dude wanted to buy packs so bad. He threw a $100 bill inside of like what was it in? It was like a pre-roll tube or something.
Really?
It was like a little.
That's a smart. I respect that technique at least.
I respect that motherfucker.
Because you looked at it.
Yeah.
You can't not look at a $100 bill.
Man, I looked at it and I framed it. I'm like, this dude really wants to get packs. Either he's a super fucking ill little fed, or he's just a really like he's about that shit.
Greatest fed of all time. Imagine that's in the fucking New York Times when they bust you.
Yeah, dude,
his genius informant.
Yeah, informant lures Berner from show with $100 bill with secret little note and little bottle that floats an ocean vibe.
Floats in the ocean, throw it out to sea.
Yeah, just like
No, I've had those kind of conversations recently with like people who are sort of like new to like making it in the weed game, and they're like, man, Adam, I can't even do no dirt anymore, man. I'm too paranoid that fucking feds are gonna try to set me up or this, that, and the other thing, you know.
I've actually really been interrogated by those guys, and that's just not fun.
I can't believe that you managed to never get arrested or put in handcuffs, especially when you're talking about those stories at LAX and shit.
Well, I was never doing nothing, you know. I mean, they were just they thought they knew what was up, and they had a certain they felt they were gonna catch me with money every time that I was a mule. They thought I was just flying back and forth with money. I don't know what the fuck they thought, but they were hard on it for a minute, and they wouldn't stop. And so I had a lawyer up and just end that. The last time they hit me, it's boom. That's it. Here's a car, motherfucker. I ain't saying shit. Am I under arrest? No, cool. Boom, peace. And I stopped there. So they're like, he lawyered up.
You talk a lot about taking losses, or at least you mentioned it quite a few times in your music, just in terms of like that sort of being like the real telltale sign of somebody who's really been in the game.
Know that shit, like, here's my whole thing, and we were talking about it before I came here, because I came from the studio over here, and I'm mastering an album right now. when it comes to like this real shit, like I feel like in 2018, I'm a flex a lot harder than I ever flex. When it comes to that freeway ride, dope dealing, money motivating type music, I'm gonna own it in 2018. The Rico album is so hard, and the reason why I feel like a lot of people relate to it, and the reason why I feel like I'm the Tyler Dearden of rap, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm the dude from Fight Club, where like the real motherfuckers that understand, and the rest of the world is blind to it, is because I identified them losses and how much that shit really hurts. Like that shit ain't easy, and it's not just a money standpoint. If a box comes up missing, your mind is running. Either your homeboy stole from you, either the Fed got that box and they're waiting to see who you call and trip out on, and they can put it all together and grab everybody up, or you just took a simple loss and you have to figure out how to bounce back and answer to whoever. So that's some stories that I'm telling that most motherfuckers just don't know how to tell because they've never been there. Everyone's trapped and cooked up crack and moved a brick and all that, but you know, we go a little deeper in our storytelling, and I think people really identify with that shit.
Yeah, totally. Because I mean, there's so many people who talk about selling drugs. That's just like, Jesus, if you actually had ever sold drugs, you'd have some interesting fucking anecdotes
well, you would
here.
know that there's a lot more sketchy, depressing vibes that come with that, and like that's why I'm cool with what I do. Like at the end of the day, look, this is my 31st album, 31. Album number 31. I'm not up here yet, and I don't think I'll ever be up here, but I own my lane. When it comes to that get money music, when you get on that freeway and you want to really, really, really vibe and smoke and ride out and hear that shit, I mean, like, bro, I just really, I feel like I sit a little, you know, below Pusha T with that lane. Like Pusha T stays consistent with that talk. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he's probably up here and I'm probably like right here, but I'm there though. It's not. I own that lane, and so I'm cool with that. I think that there's a big gap in music missing that. Everyone's making big songs, and shout out to them because they're killing it. Big streams, you know what I'm saying, big deals, a lot of money coming in. I see them owning festivals, everyone jumping, but I feel like there's a good amount of motherfucking dope deals out there that still need to be spoke to, and that's just I'm gonna stick with that.
No, it's dope that they appreciate you for like telling it how it really is and talking about like the stress element of it. People don't realize there's a lot of waiting around in selling drugs. There's a lot of cold sweats. There's a lot of just fear.
It's a lot of sketchiness. My hair is not thinning and gray for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why the line is pushed back a little bit, and some of these motherfucking beautiful brown hairs are now grays because at the end of the day, that shit is not fun.
Yeah. I think about that sometimes. I look at my face, I got the grays coming in my beard. I'm like, man, why the fuck I've been stressing myself out all these years?
I always say, man, when we sit down, I say, if there's a motherfucker my age and they all got a couple grays or their shit ain't pushed back a little bit, I can't trust them. They ain't worked hard enough. They ain't stressed hard enough. Straight up.
Facts. What's the biggest loss you ever took, just in terms of sheer dollars or product that you can disclose?
$200 million, and it was in a recreational play.
Wait a minute. How does that happen?
Well, I don't know if you'd call it a loss, but it is a loss because, well, it wasn't exactly mine yet, but let's put it like this without going into too much detail. Just last week, there was a huge deal going on, and it was on a recreational play, and it was for a brand of mine, and the deal was $200 million.
To buy it?
And we went through 8 months of due diligence and paperwork and underwriting and cleaning up, you know, licensing agreement, everything you would never want to have to do in life. And I prepared everything. And a test wire was sent out. Like, here, boom, here's this. Did it come through smoothly? Okay, cool. And at the 12th hour, some bullshit had happened with some communication issues, and the deal was pulled off the table. And I'm talking about for 8 months. For 8 months. In my mind, 100 was mine. 100. Mind you, it wasn't all cash. It's some cash and some stock.
Right.
But I'm sitting there everywhere I'm going. I don't know if you see, I was in motherfucking Spain, in Formentera, Barcelona, Ibiza, Saint-Tropez. I was motherfucking Amsterdam. I was everywhere. I was living because I was like, we got it. We won. And so when that shit didn't come through, and when I say it didn't come through, it's not like, oh, we're entertaining a deal, it didn't work out. I'm talking about this shit was about to close because of some miscommunication. I'm not going to go too deep into that shit just didn't happen.
Right.
And when that shit happened, man, my hunger, my appetite for everything just came right. I feel like it's actually a blessing because I'm beasting right now.
Right.
I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go meet some more legendary people in the lab. I'm going to finish this album up. I'm actually going to do my first press run in New York. I'm taking this shit super serious. I'm grinding way harder with cookies. I'm grinding hard with my brand Lemonade. Like, I'm almost glad it happened, but that was I feel like it's a loss because it was right there. It was really right there.
Yeah.
It was in the 11th hour, 13th hour.
Right.
How do you want your stock type shit? So
It's hard to even imagine that something that big could get fucked up over something small.
communication.
Yeah.
2 days in the weed business is like 5 months. You got all these. You got $25 billion worth of motherfuckers right now putting their money into trying to figure out how to get right here quick.
Right.
That's a lot of competition. You think the rap game is tough?
Right.
I'm fighting with fucking geniuses. So, you know, in the 2 days with no communication, for whatever reason that was going on, it wasn't on my end, of course, but at the end of the day, them 2 days, there were so many people in these guys' ears like, what if you did this? What if you could take that money? And they just, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I relate to that feeling though, because like a couple of years ago with the YouTube shit, like I was making the most I had ever been making. I was making like 40 grand a month off YouTube. I'm feeling myself, feeling like life is so good, and then that 40 grand turned into 4 like overnight. They just cut that shit down to like 10%, and it completely like, I was a little depressed. But it like revitalized me and like just forced me to just work on so many different income streams to make up for that
You
one.
probably killed it afterwards. So I'm gonna kill it right now. Like my energy right now is so like I shouldn't have got comfortable, and that's just another lesson because I never got comfortable before. Even though I've had hella things, I've always acted like nothing was real, and I think it just with that kind of number, I felt like it was so real. And with all this kind of things you're doing, you're talking about underwriting and showing bank statements and proof of revenue and, you know, all kinds of things that go with selling a weed brand from the genetic back. I mean, bro, it goes so deep. So, yeah, man, that shit just got me hungry as a motherfucker right now. And I'm probably going to kill it even more. So I'm like, I feel like that's the biggest loss. On some street shit, I won't even get into that. That's just depressing as hell. But, you know, I've definitely taken them and, you know, I said it in, I don't know what album the fuck I said it in, maybe recently or maybe a new song, but I get a rush when I bounce back from losses. Like, that's a rush. Like, if you could lose something and you bounce back, that's a hell of a high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You lose, let's say you lose a 20 pack and it's just gone, but you bust a move and go on an ill-ass mission and you pull an iller mission, you bounce back and you just feel hella good. You know,
Right.
if you lose anything and you bounce back, it feels good. So
Yeah, I was saying that to somebody in an interview the other day. I'm like, it feels really good to accomplish something and make something out of yourself. But when you have a really, really good reason for why you should not be able to make something out of yourself and you still do it anyway, that feels so much better.
for sure.
When you got your back against the wall and you still pull it off.
Yeah, nah, I mean, fuck, when all odds against you and you could really do something, then, you know, work ethic is everything, bro. If a motherfucker doesn't have work ethic, they're not going to be shit.
Right.
That's just the truth. If you're not down to work, then forget it.
That's a fact. So do you only have one kid?
I got one kid, but I take care of 4, though.
4, okay. Yeah. Shit, so is that something that occurs to you, like, as you get more and more solidified, that, like, shit, if you're going to enjoy your life as an older man, that you want to be able to just reproduce like crazy and just have a whole bunch of little kids to take care of?
Hell yeah, that's all I want. That's all I want. I keep telling my girl right now, like, throw that birth control away. I've already threw it away a few times. Let's have a bunch of kids, because this shit, I mean, my whole thing is, like, my mom died when she was 53 from cancer. And I was doing the hospice. I was the one that witnessed the whole shit to the end. And that shit stuck in my head super hard. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm 34. I look at it like I got 20 years left. And I hate to think like that. And I don't want to put negative things out there. And I might have less time. So I want to have kids and relax and enjoy this shit.
Yeah.
The rat race is cool. And making music and being around and having to do shows and travel and interviews and moving around and just constantly being on the phone and working. That's just cool. But quality of life is you're only here once.
Right.
I want to sit somewhere with a bunch of kids chilling in Hawaii, blazing weed.
Yeah. And those younger years are worth a lot more than the older years in my mind, because, like, I would kill to have 1 year as a 21-year-old back. You know, because when you're young and you're cool and you're sexy and you're marketable and shit, and it's like, for me, it's like, yeah, I'm 34. Doesn't seem that old, but I tell people that, and I'm like, yo, I'm in the rap game. Like, you realize that I am old as fuck right now, and as I get older, like, each year, it gets me further and further away from, like, the target fan base. So this window I have right now is insanely important.
Man, when I was 21, I had slick back hair. I was skinny. I was on blow. I had bitches. I was feeling myself. I had trap houses all through the city of San Francisco. If I only had Instagram. I don't remember if Instagram was back. It wasn't out back then. Fuck,
when we were 21?
21?
Hell no. We were at MySpace age at that point.
MySpace was whack. If I had IG when I was 21, bruh, it'd be a wrap.
Right.
It'd be a wrap. I'd really be out here. Because I have to say, I feel like Instagram is what made me what I am today.
Oh, you feel that way?
I know it because I started Cookie's clothing off. I don't know shit about clothing.
Off purely from the Instagram hype?
Instagram, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's crazy because I remember when I first heard about Berner, it was like a local legend. It was like, or not local legend, but it was like, nah, like Wiz Khalifa, that white guy you see with Wiz, that's Berner. He's his weed plug. Like, he's like the plug who turned his shit legit, blah, blah, blah. How much of that is true? Because I think that was a very useful, like,
that
legend.
shit was like, shout out to the Khalifa, man. That's my brother, man.
But it like made sense of who you were to people. It's just like, oh shit, he's the plug. All right.
Yeah, I think when he came through to this shop that I was telling you about, and he was able to just get some bomb ass weed, and we documented it. And then like, I brought a weed plant out on stage at one of his concerts that was like fully budded out and gifted it to him on the tour bus and documented it. And then I had the chick, Suki, shout out to my homegirl Suki, don't hate me. She smoked out of her ass with the pen before there was any pens on the market ever.
Out of her ass?
Out of her ass.
Did not know about that. We're going to have to look that up.
It's Stoner Girls Gone Wild, episode 2. Episode 1, she smoked out the puss.
Josh, write that down.
Yeah, Stoner Girls Gone Wild. It was tight because it was like off the iPhone. It was Blair Witchy. It wasn't like super like nice cameras. It was in my house. And, I just felt like all those things just made people look further, and they're like, damn, this dude got projects. Oh, he is from the Bay. Solidified, no bullshit. Damn, he really got the weed. Then the cookies started popping, and it just all happened like magical. It was all happening at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Damn, that is crazy.
Drake DM'd me when the girl smoked out her ass, Suki. I love Suki. Thank you, Suki.
What'd he say? What's her name?
He said,
who is she?
he just said, I fuck with what you're doing. You're wild. And I'm like, that's what's up. And then he had me pull up to the motto video.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Bro, that's so tight. Like, because I kind of like got the same, like I got the DM from Drake just showing love one time after I did something. I was just like, man, that's so unbelievable to think he's actually paying attention.
Look, I was like, man, that was dope.
Yeah.
He still follows me on Twitter, so I'm like, cool. That's what's up. Shout out to Drake, man. Clout chasing right now. I have to. That's the only way I'll clout chase with Drizzy.
You got it. Every time I hear anyone having a conversation about Drake, I'm thinking about that. Like in my head, I'm like, well, he follows me.
Yeah, for sure. If you call somebody out on some bullshit, Drake's gonna see that shit.
Yeah.
He's gonna know that person is a fuckboy. That's powerful.
He's in the algorithm. That's a good point.
Sure,
yeah,
dude, that really is up in there.
Facts. So yeah, like what do you feel like most motivated by at this point in your life in terms of just really taking your shit to the next level?
I'm motivated by the fact that people consider me to be, what people say, like somewhat of an important person in this business, and the fact that I have a good mouthpiece and that I know how to move correctly, and that I feel like I will end up doing something huge with one of these brands, and I will be able to make sure that, and this may sound crazy because my daughter's only 11, but if she ever chooses to smoke cannabis or her friends do, that is something good. It's not some bullshit. A lot of powerful groups jumping in the game right now. They don't give a fuck what they grow. They're about pumping and dumping and building marijuana companies for money. My main motivation right now is not only to be one of the dopest brands out there and to have success with that, but to make sure that the weed that is grown in the world, I have some kind of parts in that it's not no bullshit. I don't want someone in 2090 smoking some foo-foo because they let some fucking real estate dudes come in the game and just put whatever genetics they want to put in there. I want them smoking some of our shit.
Facts. A lot of people kind of chill out with weed as they get older. You see any possibility of that happening to you?
Hell no. I want to write movies and chill on the beach, so that requires a lot of weed.
Yeah. But you don't ever feel like you have any kind of like respiratory issues or anything like that? I got a buddy who recently stopped smoking weed due to some health issues.
Sometimes if I'm like in a sketchy situation, I'm smoking some weed that's really strong, I might have the heartbeat like a little drummer boy in the chest, like I just did a bump or something, but it goes away. So, I mean, I'm cool with it. Like, I need the shit. I'm down here having FOMO where that joint is at right now, and I'm looking around like I feel like I'm having like a little nicotine like rush right now, but I love the weed, man. The weed's the best. You
don't fuck with the woods or blunts in general, or a little bit?
I hit a Bearwood for Eli, and it was fire. And like, if I'm with like the Sauce Twins or something, I'll hit a Bearwood. Or if I'm with, or a Backwood. If I'm with, it depends who I'm with. I have nothing against tobacco, but the shit just tastes too good in papers.
If we were with the Sauce Twins, would you pour up?
I wouldn't pour up, but I'd definitely take a little baby sip just because, like, it's the Sauce Twins, bro, and they drip so hard, and those are the homies, and their energy is timeless. So, for Sauce Walker, I would take a sip of some pink soda.
I too will take a
But I wouldn't
sip.
lean out, though. I wouldn't, like, pour a full cup, but I just...
Did you have a serious lean phase or a little bit?
I was on that powder when I was young.
Right.
I haven't done it in 11 years since I had a kid, but I was on coke, bitches, and alcohol hard for a long time.
Yeah, if you want to get something done in your life, I would recommend coke over lean.
Yeah, lean, like, the cup holding is cool, but look, you're going to get diabetes. You're going to fall asleep. People are going to take videos of you asleep on the internet. You're not gonna
They're gonna dump water in your head.
You're not. You're like put some chips in your mouth and play with your toes. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers draw a dick on your forehead or something. Like, man, like, look, hey, everyone is their own person. My choice of drug is this. You know what I'm saying? If you want to sip lean, cool, but you probably ain't gonna make no guala if you sip lean like that. You're gonna let your business fall apart. So fuck that.
I'm gonna just do a bunch of coke and sit by the window with a machine gun, just freaking out.
Bro, do coke, pop Adderall, and just fucking definitely look out the blinds with a big ass pistol, and you'll be probably more productive. You'll probably at least make powerful calls, and you know what I'm saying? Like you'll be feeling yourself so hard, you'll make something happen.
I'm glad I don't do coke anymore because I'll probably grab my phone and DM Drake and be like, "Yo, man, you're so tight."
Drizzy, I need the 16. Rico's about to drop. Fuck with me, man. Come on. Like that's how I'd be on the powder. Like I was aggressive. with my powder. I was in bitches' ears every night, and shit was just wild. And I'm glad that shit's gone.
I went to a party somewhat recently, and I'm stone cold sober. I walk in, and I realize everybody in there's drunk and off hella coke, and I'm like, and they're all trying to like pull me aside and have conversations with me. I'm like, this is hell. This is hell right here.
Yeah, when you get the coke wiggle jaw, and then you just get like to the point where you literally just do enough coke to drink to bounce it out, to drink too much to have to do coke to bounce back. That's when it's dark, bro.
And all of a sudden it's like 11 o'clock in the morning and you just feel terrible.
And
you
then you
realize
drink like a line of coke and go get a piece of pizza, and it's like normal to you because you're supposed to eat. That's all bad. Like that's where I was at with it when I was young. I'm like, this is bad. You can't do a line and eat a piece of pizza. That's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is that?
You can't eat. I can't. I've never been able to eat on coke.
That's
ever.
how much I was doing. I had to eat. I was just on powder.
I was something.
Wilding out. Those are the old days.
So tell them what to look out for in terms of what's on the move and what's coming.
Yeah, man. Look, Rico album right now is coming out September 7th. I feel like it's one of my best projects. I got a lot of features on there. I got Wiz Khalifa. I got Kevin Gates. Shout out to Kevin Gates.
Shout out Kevin Gates.
I got Bone Thugs and Harmony. I got a record with DJ Paul, Busy and Crazy. I got DJ Quick, Young Buck. I got Chronics. Rest in peace to the motherfucking Jack. I got Jack on there. Legendary record with the Jack.
Shout out Young Buck. You gotta keep him in there.
Man, Young Buck's verse is by far the hardest shit ever on there.
Welcome to Cashville. Hugely underrated classic hip hop album.
And that's what I'm saying is like to be able to be a fan of music, and that's why I still make it. I wanted to hear Young Buck on this beat, and he came and he did what I wanted him to do, and fucking bodied it. And so yeah, the Rico album is on September 7th. I'm about to drop that shit, man, and I'm gonna keep rocking. Hopefully, me and Wiz's album can come out this year too. That shit's been done for a minute, and I'm working on a project with somebody super big that nobody's gonna expect. And when that shit comes out, that shit's gonna be game changing for your boy. So I'm just staying humble.
I need that. Well, thank you for all this kush that will definitely be obliterated tonight.
Yeah, man, we gonna you got some Snowman. You got some Medellin, which is new.
Runts with a Z.
Yeah, Runts with a Z. That shit's what we were smoking earlier. It tastes good.
Apply label here is another good one. No, it says Limoncello.
Limoncello is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just fire right there. Hey, shout out to my boy Chris Grimes too, that does all the Cookies clothing. He's a a big fan of you guys. He's been advocating me coming here for a long time.
Oh, fire.
You know what I'm saying? And
I need that pack. I'll rock that.
Bro, I'll get you the nicest pack.
Let's do it. I need that. I'll tag it and all that.
I got you, brother.
Migos influenced me.
Mafia box for everybody over here at No Jumper, man. Straight up.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, big shout out to Berner. Been killing it in the game for a long ass time. It's a good, whether you're trapping or you're not trapping, there's a very, very good role model that you could depend on. So pay close attention to this fucking interview.
Yes, listen, pay your taxes. And if you trap, just don't tell the whole internet while you're doing it. Just talk about it later. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing.
That's a good point. I have a lot of friends who every illegal thing they do, they put on Instagram. And I think about that. Like, wouldn't it be crazy to buy a pint of lean and not put it on Instagram? Or like,
I actually have a song on my new album called Singing, and it's about all the young homies. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop showing every play you make. You're going to fuck yourself.
Make some money and don't flex it. It's a thing.
And go to fucking Formentera and have some fucking salt baked fish on the beach. That's what you gotta do.
There you go. That's what I'm doing after this. All right. Much love to Berner. This has been No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes.
Yeah.
I'm